Hi, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, I am totally delighted to have our guest, Abiodun Oyewole, who is a founding member of The Last Poets, considered by many to be the very first rap group. I met Abiodun in Senegal in 2013 when I was there on a trip with our good friend Tony Vaca with the Senegal America Project. And we actually wrote a song there together, our first song. And we liked it so much, we decided to do some more. So we did 2 albums together, and we're going to get into some of that later anyway. Welcome, Abiodun Oyewole, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It's so great. So you were born in the United States, in Ohio, and you, but you have a Nigerian name, which you took when you were 15 years old.
Right.
So tell us why and how you took that name.
Well, I actually came across a place in Harlem that had an African facade, and it kind of interested me. I thought it was kind of funny actually when I first saw it. And so there was a guy came out and he was wearing African clothing, and he said, "Why don't you come inside and see something maybe that would be of more interest to you?"
Right.
And I came inside and I saw all these African masks and different artifacts, and he gave me a stone, a black stone, a white stone to separate. Anyway, he gave me a reading. I never had an Ifa divination before, which was an actual reading.
And what do they use for that?
It was a black stone and a chalky white stone, and he had me shake and separate. And whenever he would say, he'd point to my hand and say, "Open it up," and whatever stone I had in my hand, he would write something down on a piece of paper.
Right.
And I don't know what the system really was, but he told me, he said, "Well, your name is Abiodun Oyewole." And I said, "My name is Charles Davis." I said, "And they call me Chucky."
And I was, he said, "Not anymore."
I wasn't too, I didn't jump on it because I like my name. I like the fact that I had a little fame as a basketball player for the name I had. I mean, I wasn't trying to change my name, and I didn't really, and that African sound didn't really sit in my mouth too well because I wasn't familiar with it. But as time went on, I discovered that many African Americans had adopted the European names
at that time, right? Yeah,
because we didn't know any better. And so when I discovered that I did have this African name, and I started using it, and I actually forced my friends to refer to me as Abiodun by telling them I would not answer if they called me by Chuck.
Right.
And so it became, my mother was upset at first, but she's gotten on board since, and that's
been a while.
It's been a minute.
Well, we all call you Dune. That's your nickname, and then all your friends call you Dune. It's easier,
right?
And that's a beautiful name too. You are a founding member of The Last Poets, and I refer to you often when I talk to you as a piece of Black history. You were there. You know a lot of people. You've seen a lot of stuff, and you're now celebrating your 50th anniversary. What's that like to be working with people for 50 years? I know you've changed some.
Man, the fact is that just the idea that what we started happened 50 years ago is kind of mind-blowing. To be here, to be able to still talk about it and to still travel around the world performing, it's really kind of like a blessing. And it started basically because I was very upset with the killing of Dr. King. When King was killed April 4th, 1968, I thought I would lose my mind because I just felt that this man stood on a platform of peace. He was nonviolent. I couldn't see how he could be shot down. So I wanted to respond to that. And there was a friend of mine, this young man I had met named David. Well, he was a little older than me, but he was a friend. And he had said he wanted to get a collective of poets together to be a part of the Black Power movement. And I felt that was the most logical step after the Civil Rights Movement. And I wanted to very much be a part of the Black Power movement. And that was my entry into the Black Power movement. And
you, how old were you at the time?
I was 19 years old.
Yeah, there you go.
I was a kid, and I really didn't have any. I was not. I mean, I'd been raised like a Black Power child because my father believed in self-determination as a parent. he always believed that we should be able to take care of ourselves, have our own, and ask nobody for anything. I mean, he was a very strong Southern man who gave me some strong Southern roots, even though I was raised in Queens, New York. And I just felt that the Black Power movement was right in suit with my personality. And then when he said that he had put our names on the list to read poetry for Malcolm's birthday on May 19th, 1968, I was happy, and I was also a little apprehensive because I was going to do this in Harlem. And Harlem is a tough crowd.
No kidding.
and I really didn't know how I was going to be received by the people in Harlem, but I did come to Harlem, and I'd used this method even now. I came to Harlem, and I walked around, I listened, I observed, and I wrote a poem based upon what I was hearing. And at the time, the expression was, "What's your thing?" And "What's your thing" was basically coming from this line from a song by the Isley Brothers. "It's your thing.
It's your thing. Right?
Do what you want to do."
Great song.
And everywhere, so "thing" in the street was like, "What's your thing, brother?" It meant like, what are you affiliated with? That's a part of the movement.
Who are you? What are you about?
Yeah, like, so, so I heard people say I'm a Black Panther, or I'm in the Nation of Islam, or I'm in the Republic of New Africa. So I realized that thing became like a revolutionary pronoun. And so I took that and I wrote my first poem called "What is your thing, brother? Is it a Black thing? Will it save Black men and women? Will it build a Black nation for Black people?" And that was my first, I wouldn't say it was a poetic gem, but it did have all the nuances of what we needed to hear. And I went on stage and I did that, and the people appreciated it. And as they say, the rest is history. The group was born, and we got our name from a South African poet named Kelapetsiko Kasili, who just recently passed away, but he was a poet who actually had written a poem about the conditions of the South Africans were going through. And in his poem, he talked about how he says, "When the moment hatches in time's womb, there will be no more art talk. The only poem you will hear will be the spear point pivoted to the punctured marrow of the villain, and the timeless native sun dancing like crazy to retrieve rhythms of desire fading into memory." And so David Nelson, who is a member also of the group, gleaned that therefore we are the last poets of the world.
Right.
So we had a creed, we had the name, and we were out there performing, and it became something that I'm extremely proud of, and the longevity now speaks for itself.
It sure does. I want to go to the first video, our video. And this is a video. It's a song you wrote called Pelorinho, which is about the old slave market in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I've actually been there. And it's a pretty intense place.
Right.
So this is, I love this. Well, I love the song, and video's beautiful. Tony produced it, the music, and it's just got this great, it encapsulates so much for me, that intensity of slavery, and all of that. And it's also, you're joined here on vocals by our good friends, Bede Bubes, who have also been on the show, and were fabulous. So let's go to the video. Oh, wait, is there anything you want to say about the video first? About the song?
You know what, I was so impressed with the young man that did the video, Wanted.
Wanted, amazing.
First of all, it was the first time I ever experienced a drone taking pictures. I thought it was a little toy that he had in the box, and it was like this camera, and it was zooming right in on me, and I was just impressed with the entire take of that particular video. And the fact that this young man knew exactly what he was doing, and then when we saw the footage that he had taken, it was an impressive
he did an amazing
showing.
job. I agree. All right, let's go to the video right now.
Brought her in chains, living in pain. Today is the same, and nothing ever changes. Hung by a noose, can't tell the truth, filled with abuse, and everywhere there's danger. How long can this go on? When will the light I see? I know I must be strong to last yeah, to last through my journey, yeah. Time will arrive when we must decide to get off the ride and stop going through these changes. We must prepare and learn how to care, for soon we'll be there where our lives won't be in danger. And when the light is clear, oh, how beautiful I will be to know that I've been here and made it through my journey, yeah, and made it through my journey, yeah, 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 made it through my journey, made it through my journey. Pelorinho, a bloodline across the waters, from Benin to Salvador Bahia, a scar across the face of the earth. Pelorinho, the place they brought the Africans, the place where they tried to make them slaves. Pelorinho, you can feel the whip, hear the cries, and see the blood in the red clay. The clay that holds the stones together is African. And each stone is a bone from a people called slaves. Pelorinho is the place where death came to dwell. His neighbors did not complain, for he was a way out. From the cold, gray cobblestone streets to the lifeless cathedrals, tall walls of demons called angels, haunted visions of white faces crucifying Jesus again and again. But in the sacrifice of this blood, of this dance with death, comes life more rich, more pure, more alive, where death spent many lonely nights pacing the floors of his funeral parlor, waiting for someone to die. Pelorinho, a French word called the place of torture, became a place of strength, a place where faces of white saints became faces of black gods, where haunted visions and demons became healing visionaries and orishas from the motherland. And Jesus rejoined his kinfolk and was reborn and baptized in the sound of sensual skin turned up to dance, to inspire a fire like the sun, pronouncing his presence. Pelorinho was the tongue of the flame, licking the eyes of those who have tried to remain blind, shining a light on a spirit that would not be denied. No, the chains did not break the spirit, did not enslave the music of my soul, did not shackle the will of my freedom, did not tarnish the glow of my gold. And all the Pelorinhos in Africa, in Europe, in North and South America cannot destroy the majesty of my people, the love of my people, shining like the sun everywhere we go, everywhere we go.
Hey, all right. That's such a great song.
Yeah.
I love it. And I have to say that was shot at Goree Island in Senegal. Goree is also notorious for being an old slave port where people were rounded up, kept in a slave castle, waiting for the ships, and then were off to the New World, never to see Africa again.
Yeah, a lot of people remember Goree from the fact that many, that's where the so-called door of no return is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty intense spot, right?
Yes, except that we've returned.
We have returned. It's true. You are a songwriter.
Yes.
And we have now...
We got 2 CDs.
2 CDs,
man.
right?
Man, I'm so proud of. Love Has No Season is the first, and I mean, these are songs that I have written. You see, my lady who passed away about 2 years ago, she was so dear to me. And I would spend time. She would always hook up a nice birthday trip for me, and wouldn't tell me where I was going until I get to the airport. So it was always a surprise. And then we would ride. We'd get a car. We'd go different spots. She'd always have these points of interest picked out, and we didn't need a CD player or nothing because I would sing songs, and I'd make up some songs sometimes while we were riding along.
Yeah.
And she would tell me things like, you need to share these songs. You just write them and sing them for me only. And so I have all these songs I had sung just to her, just for her ears only, and it was a joy. And then when we did Saboba Day, I said, Derek is the guy. He could make my stuff happen because you know how to put Sunday clothes on my words. You could really dress up this stuff beautiful, man. So I really was so happy to to meet you, to know, and your gift is beyond. I mean, the world needs to know that you're a very gifted musician. And the fact is that I appreciate what you've done, because when we were at your house, and I said, I asked you, I said, well, I want to do this album. And you said, and I said, well, I think I'm going to call it The Soft Side of the Dune, because everybody knows I'm a poet and a revolutionary poet. I'm kind of like hitting hard, but they don't know the soft side.
Sure.
And that seemed to resonate. But then the first song that I shared with you was Love Has No Season. And as I remember I was leaving, and you said, Dune, I really like that as a title for the CD. And I remember that, Love Has No Season, and that became the title. That became the title of the first CD. And that CD was great, and I remember how Judy loved it so much, and everybody who has heard it loves it. And it's just a beautiful CD of love songs that everybody should have a copy of.
I hope so.
and it works so well. And so after that work, then we are caught up in these moments of toxic madness, considering what's going on with the government and everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to that point. And I said, well, the whole country needs a remedy, And so then I did another one with you called Remedy, and I'm very proud of that as well. Songs that to take us away from this particular harsh reality to some other place where we can kind of venture our minds and imaginations to, so that we won't suffer so much with this madness that we're facing.
That's right.
And so Remedy was the second CD. And in both cases, I mean, when people will ask me when I'm on the road, they say, well, what CDs do you recommend? I will recommend both of those CDs in a minute. And I've had people email me or write me or call me and say, Dune, your recommendation is really working. I was in Buffalo not long ago, and I played Remedy for some folks there. It was a Kwanzaa celebration. They played Remedy every day while I was there, live for the people, and it was so beautiful. I was so proud of that, besides the fact that they showed Pelorinho, the video that we just got finished. They showed it every moment they could show it.
Beautiful.
So they really loved it. So, and it's just, it's first of all, it's good to make collaborations with people who understand how to work together.
Sure.
And you and I have had I think the gift of being able to work together real comfortably.
I agree. Yes. And let's go, we're going to listen to Remedy right now.
Yes.
And the song Remedy, which is the title song.
Right.
So let's go to that and check this out.
We live in moments that are blessings, and there is nothing that's more caressing to taste the love and feel the passion for that someone to bring satisfaction. We've had some good times we can't forget, and all our joys outweigh regrets. We know the cycle, we know the scale. Everything is balanced. Sometimes you win, sometimes you fail. You can't wallow in the mud and wash your face in tears. Don't be afraid to share your love and rid your mind of all your fears. There are times when we must seek some spiritual advice so we can learn to live in peace and erase away the strife. Always remember you're part of nature, and your faith should never waver. We live in moments that are blessings, and there's nothing that's more caressing. blessings, and there is nothing that's more caressing to taste the love and feel the passion for that someone that brings satisfaction. We've had some good times we can't forget.
There you go. There's
That's
Remedy.
nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
There's some pictures I hadn't seen.
I know.
too.
I grabbed them off the internet. It was
Wow,
cool, right?
wow, that's nice.
So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. Abiodun Oyewole, more commonly known as Dune.
Yes.
And sharing your beautiful music and, you know, your spirit and your love of humanity, which I think is such
I want
a
to
strong
thank you for just being able to do this world fusion music, because when you look around the world, we need to recognize how important music has been for saving the lives of people on a lot of levels. Music is a salvation. Music is like this is a prayer that everyone can participate in. And I really see you doing your part, Derek, very, very much. And I'm so happy to be a part of your show. And I just hope it just goes viral for everybody on the planet to see.
Yeah, well, we're doing okay. We're doing pretty good getting it out there. So I just want to say, this is Derek Jordan, and thank you for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. And we're now going to go to the part of the show where we do live in the studio playing with our guest, and we're going to be joined this time by Tony Vaca on percussion. So thank you so much for coming. And remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.
For the millions, 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 millions of Africans chained to the slave ships, for the millions of scars on their backs and faces by the bullwhip, for the millions who jumped overboard, for the blood that poured on the shores of North America, South America, Central America, and Europe. And each ripple in the ocean is a grave for an African who refused to be a slave. For the millions, for the millions, for the millions who pick the cotton, whose names have been forgotten, whose flesh has rotten with the trees they hung us from. Cut off our hands, cut our tongues if we played the drums. For the men who were shot, hung, beat to death, tarred and feathered, boiled in oil, whiplash, backlash, cul-de-sac, and thrown in the river. For the millions who were castrated, miseducated, segregated, integrated, legislated by the constipated. For the millions, for the millions, for the millions, millions who were lied to, denied to, vampire-eyed to, misguided to, and not abided to. So we decided to, we decided to, we decided to, we decided to, we decided to get ourselves together and change the weather, not just for now, but forever. We decided to take a look at the beauty of ourselves, at this colored skin, at this coarse hair, at these full lips, at this Africa, all inside our souls, still breathing the breath of God's in our lungs. Greatness is where we're coming from. For the millions, for the millions who laid in, lived in, boycotted, picketed, cursed at, yelled at, like black's not where it's at. And we should be satisfied to ride in the back. For the famed Luhamas, and Rosa Parks, Ella Bakers, for Gwendolyn Brooks and Sada Shakur, for the Deacons and Panthers and James and Paul, and Richard and Malik, and Kunta Kinte too. For the millions who knew, and for those who've always known, no matter what, truth crushed to the earth shall rise again. No matter how many prisons, diseases, and deaths, no one can take our breath away. No matter how much liquor and crack, nothing can kill the fact we are a divine creation. Started civilizations, built the pyramids and the Sphinx, taught the world how to pray and think, not to mention inventions we never got credit for. And all the babies we raised, even when our own were ignored. For the millions, for the millions, for the millions, we find their souls that burn so bright. And the strength of our will, as dominant as the night. And the rhythm when we walk, and the rhythm when we talk, and the rhythm when we walk, and the rhythm when we talk. Even when we have nothing to say, we utter sounds that put color and spice in the day. For the millions who are ready, turn this thing around. Tired of being tired and crawling on the ground, it's time to return our spiritual home, reclaim our throne, and leave this American nightmare alone.